All right, we are out here, part of day one here, one of the bands that my wife and I have been looking forward to, probably, I think the number one draw for us this year, Incubus. And I'm lucky enough to have their amazing drummer, Jose Pasillas, here with us today. Jose, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. Awesome.
Man,
awesome to be here.
We are really looking forward to you guys' set, I got to tell you.
Oh, right on.
You're one of our favorite bands. My wife is a huge fan. We've been fans since the Fungus Among Us days.
Wow.
I was talking about it with her. You guys are coming up on that 30-year mark for Fungus Among Us and that 1995 kind of beginning of the band. I wanted to ask about you and your start with the band and how that all came about.
Well, I met Brandon in 4th grade.
Wow.
We met Mike in 6th grade. Started our band in 10th grade. So me and Brandon went to elementary school together, and then junior high with Mike, and then I met our old bass player, Alex, in 10th grade.
Yep.
And then me, Mike, and Alex were just kind of messing around, jamming a little bit, playing like Metallica songs,
covers,
and Megadeth, and all the music that they were into. I was listening to a bunch of different other stuff, but I just was happy to play drums.
Sure.
And then that was the summer of '91, before we started 10th grade. And then in 10th grade, Brandon was like, I heard you guys have been jamming. He's like, can I like come to rehearsal? Can I like, sing for you guys? And we were like, yeah.
Why not?
And literally, he never sang a note in his life.
Really?
And from that point, we just started writing original music.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, you said like they were influenced by Metallica, Megadeth. What were you listening to at the time? And I got to say, like, what inspired you to start drumming?
I was listening to a bunch of stuff, but I grew up skateboarding and surfing, both Brandon and Mike also, but they were more into like the metal scene, and I was listening to like Black Flag, like Bad Religion, a lot of the stuff that I was seeing in skate videos.
Right.
But I also loved the Ramones, and I was always a fan of Led Zeppelin, of course.
Sure.
And so, before that, listened to a lot of the music my parents listened to, like Prince was one of them.
Yeah.
And so, like, I always heard the drums, listening to music even when I was a little kid. And I really noticed that was sticking out more and more, like 13, 14, and then the summer of, I think it was 9th grade, Steven Adler from Guns N' Roses moved next door to us.
Oh, no kidding.
And this was right, it was more in junior high, because this is when Appetite first came out.
Right.
And so Steven moved next door, built a studio next where the garage is, and I remember listening to it, and the whole neighborhood was livid because it was like 2 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
And he was ripping. And I would be sitting up listening to it going, this is amazing.
How cool.
So it was funny. He went away on tour for Appetite for that whole year, was gone. And I started playing drums. So I was like right around 14. And so, like, from that point on, I just really got into it, and it just, like, started our band the next year. And
did you ever go in his recording studio next door?
I would walk over there before I started playing. I'd walk over, and Steven was always in his studio, and I'd be like, hey, man, can I sit behind your kit? And he had this huge, beautiful, like, it was like a DW kit. It was all like a beautiful white pearl, double kick, just like this incredible-looking thing. And I would just sit there for like 10 minutes, and then I would leave.
Yeah.
And then I would leave, and take some like broken
Not play
sticks.
anything?
No, I didn't even. I wasn't. This was even before I was really even playing. So pretty crazy.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
What a beginning.
Yeah, it
really
was.
In the beginning of Incubus, we're talking about that too as well. Do you guys, I don't know if you can even mention that, but are you guys planning on maybe doing something? Are you starting to think about celebrating some of those original albums that came out 1995, some of your debuts? Do you guys go back and kind of go through the archives and like say, hey, that's a song we forgot about, or hey, maybe bring that into the live mix or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's always tough. I mean, we have so many records, so many songs.
I know.
It's really hard to get them in there, but we try to touch base with each record that we do. Fungus Among Us, not so much. We don't really touch any of that.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know,
What, the first album.
when you're looking at what you wore like in 5th grade, you're like, fuck, I will never wear that again.
Right.
It's kind of like that.
Kinda
But
like
you
that.
know, it was, you know, I'm not. I would never say I'm ashamed of anything we've done because it was a process.
Sure.
But you know, to play him is a little funny and ridiculous.
Right.
But whatever.
I hear you.
But
Well,
we're doing tomorrow. We're gonna do. Speaking of that, we're gonna do Maker's Morning View from beginning to end.
That's
as,
right.
You know,
That's
yeah.
going to be one of the last shows you do this year, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And so how was that? Like, was that an idea that you guys all kind of came up with? Like, man, that's a solid album. We got to do that front to back.
Well,
There's tracks on there we never played.
Yeah, I mean, we were planning on doing that on the 20th anniversary.
Right.
But COVID. It was during COVID, so we ended up doing a live stream from the Morning View house where
That's
we
right.
recorded it.
I remember that.
So we did it from front to back, and we've been meaning to do it for a long time. We just hadn't, and we're like, let's make the Bull like an extra special show.
Nice. Yeah.
So we're gonna do it, there tomorrow.
What about plans for 2024? Can you let us know anything? I mean, it's been a minute since your last album came out. What was it, 2017?
Yeah. We're definitely gonna write music and have something, hopefully in the pipe for next year. That's the plan, and then we'll be touring again spring on.
Nice.
So that's the plan.
Yeah, sure.
Whether we can pull
Plans,
it off or not,
right.
we'll see. But that is the plan.
Now, in terms of writing new music, how involved are you in that process? What's the process like? Does Brandon come up with lyrics and you guys come up with songs afterwards, or is it vice versa? You guys come up with the music first and bring it to him?
It happens in a myriad of different ways, but usually Mike will have like a couple of guitar parts, like maybe a verse and a chorus, just like an A-B part.
Sure.
And then usually if he's got like a few of those, Brandon and him will get together, and Brandon...
Yep. Anything he says is true.
Thank you, Chris. We'll kind of see if they gel, and if Brandon's got like some ideas melodically, then we get
Just goes
together
from there.
and everyone just throws their stuff on, and it's just kind of like a melting pot of ideas. you know?
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. So as far as set lists go for festivals, what's your guys' process? Like you were saying, you have so many albums, so many different types of moods. You guys kind of run the gamut when you are building a set list for a festival crowd. What do you try and include in that?
It's tough. Again, we've been touring all year, so we've got like our big like hour and 45-minute set, and we usually just keep the bones of that, and then just kind of cut out
Sure.
the
filler.
excess the excess fat, which is hard because
all good.
that kind of rounds it out, that excess fat. So
No.
I don't know. There's a lot of bangers in there, and we put a little mash in there and see what
Well,
happens.
We're looking forward to it. We won't keep you too much longer. You got to get ready. Everybody head over to incubushq.com, get all their music, merch, tour updates. Thank you so much, Jose. Really appreciate this time, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it.